Hi everyone, it's time for another episode of Atoms for the Love of Movie Picks. This time around, we're going to be talking about the 2021 documentary on Netflix, The Last Blockbuster. I just got finished watching it, and I gotta tell you, folks, it's one of the best documentaries I've ever seen. I might be a little bit biased because I'm a movie lover, but I mean, if you even have the slightest inclination about liking movies, you don't have to be a fanatic of movies. If you just like movies in general, you will probably like this documentary. You may not love it as much as I do, but you'll definitely like it. Um, the premise, as it says, is about the franchise Blockbuster, which was founded in 1985, and it more or less, from what I've read, basically the corporate owned stores, the last bulk of them closed in 2013. Most of those were in the States. If memory serves me right, the ones up here in Canada, most of them were closed by I think either 2010 or 2011. I know they certainly weren't open as late as 2013. And yeah, basically, this documentary is about the last surviving Blockbuster in Bend, Oregon. It's independently owned. It's got the Blockbuster name, but it was never owned by Blockbuster, which is why it's still able to be around. As far as I know, it's still around as of this year. And yeah, it's just a really neat documentary. It kind of documents a little bit about the Blockbuster's beginning, why what happened to it, the demise of Blockbuster. It had a little bit to do with the streaming platforms coming around. You got your Netflix and your Redbook, and you got your on demands with your various TV channels like Rogers and Bell and stuff like that. But from what the documentary says, the real demise of Blockbuster happened to do with some kind of stock firm or broker firm or something that Blockbuster was mainly invested in that went bankrupt during the recession in 2009. And it basically was, kind of almost the nail in the coffin for Blockbuster corporately. They just the money wasn't there. They were just bleeding money and they couldn't stick around. But for me, the documentary, what the main things it focuses on, besides the last store in Bend, Oregon, is what the store represents. A bygone era that just doesn't exist anymore. That I grew up with in my childhood. It was a great part of my childhood. I absolutely loved it. I miss it. It really made me nostalgic for the times that don't exist anymore. As a child growing up in the 90s and the early 2000s, which is the last era of the video rental. It was just something that you don't do anymore. Streaming platforms are great. Don't get me wrong. YouTube, this is how I get my movies out. You got your Netflix. Great programs on Netflix. It's one of the things I thought was kind of funny. You got a streaming platform presenting a documentary about a video chain that ironically was kind of put out of business by Netflix. So I thought that was kind of funny. But I'm a big supporter of them. But at the same token, and like the documentary says, you can't get the physical aspect with the streaming platform. You go, you get out of the house, you go to, depending on closer to the video store, you may walk to the video store, you may take the car, just get out for the night. Maybe, if it's a family thing, you take the family out on a Friday night, go down to the video store, you pick out that new release that just came out, or maybe you rent one of your old favorites, you pick a movie as a family. Get that movie, you might pick up some pizza or some Chinese food or something on the way home. And you come home, pop that movie in, you watch it. You may have your dinner first, then watch the movie, have some popcorn, which you can also get at the video store. They got everything. You get the popcorn, you get the candy. It's a whole experience in one. And you just can't get that with a streaming platform. It's just not the same. And people may not feel the way that I do about it, may not feel nostalgic, but I bet a lot of people do. There's a lot of people of my age and slightly older that grew up with the video store. That are more familiar or had more years experience with the video store than they do with streaming platforms. It was just a great documentary. It was neat. It's sad that the only remaining Blockbuster, you get the odd ma and pa video store that might have the video rental as a side thing. It's a convenience store and they rent out some videos to help out the business. But to have a mainstream business, that is their bread and butter. That is what the store is about, is renting videos. Just it's hard to find anymore. It basically doesn't exist. Whether it's a Blockbuster or Rogers or I'll give you an example. In the city that I live in Guelph, Ontario, Canada, the last video store was a place called Thomas Video. It went out quite a few years ago. I think it was 2016 or 2017. Might even be 2018. I'd have to check into that. And it was basically the last video store that was in Guelph. That was it. There was no more. There was no more going to a store and renting videos. It's just, it was an end of an era. It was sad, really. I mean, it's been so many years now since the video store thing has kind of come to an end, like especially like Blockbusters. Like I said, it was like 2010, 2011 here in Canada. You almost forgot about it, but then you watch a documentary like The Last Blockbuster, and it instantly takes you back. You can close your eyes and picture yourself in the Blockbuster on a Friday night, picking out the movie. It actually, like the documentary says, it's not only for family or just picking out a movie. You can do it for a date night. If you want you out on a date, you can make a date night out of it. You go out for some dinner, you pick up a movie on the way back with your popcorn, go back to one of your place, watch a movie. You make a night out of it. It's things like that. Just that you can, when you watch this, it takes you back to those memories that you had. Either in your childhood or as an adult, and you're renting movies. It's going to the store. It's an actual physical experience. It was really cool. And yeah, definitely nostalgic. And of course, they got some well-known actors, making cameos and talking about it. I think the best well-known one is Kevin Smith. They're talking about their experiences. Some of them worked in video stores or had experiences, as a working for Blockbuster, representing the brand. And yeah, just a really great documentary. I highly recommend it. Like I said, if you're a fan of the video store, if you're nostalgic for that kind of thing, if you just like movies in general, it's a great documentary to check out. And yeah, Last Blockbuster on Netflix now. Check it out. You will not be disappointed. It's a family. It's all ages can watch it. Kids these days may not be interested because they'll be like, "What the heck is a video store?" Everything to them is online these days. Most kids, I would say, under the age of 18 these days have no clue what a video store is. Like I said, the majority of the Blockbusters in the States closed in 2013, and up here in Canada, they were gone by 2010, 2011. So yeah, most kids under that age have no clue what a video store is. But yeah, just the same, maybe introduce them to it. Show them, hey, this is what mom and dad used to do before you watched all your stuff online, all your videos and your TV shows and your YouTube videos. For all this crap was online. You physically got off your ass, went down to a store, whether you walked or took the car. You went out to the store to get the stuff you wanted to watch, whether it was a TV show or a video. And and I remember actually also you could rent video games there too. So, I mean, yeah, like because you basically can even get your video games online now. So, but there was a time when you literally went down, you physically got off your butt, went down to the store and picked it out. So, yeah, recommended for all ages, the family. Just great watch. Check out The Last Blockbuster on Netflix now. You will not be disappointed. All right, have a good night, folks. Take care. See you in the next one.